name is Lexis Rodriguez. I'm going to start off by reading my essay, and then I'll get a little bit into more depth on what I am going to be talking about for the Chicano culture that I come from and my mom comes from. So yeah, I'll start off by reading this first. In an interconnected world, there are many differences. One of the readings I have read from the book was called In the Borderlands of Chicano Identity. There are only 4 fragments. There are a lot of issues addressed and different thoughts and ideas shared throughout the reading. Cultural diversity and cultural sameness were also involved. I will discuss the differences in the economy as well as people view each culture. This has a lot to do with cultural diversity. There's a lot of diversity in the U.S. as well as other countries, and many people may feel a certain way because of it. This is a quote from the reading I had read that states, "To create more an equitable learning environment, students need opportunities to explore economic diversity and to challenge harmful disclosures about people experiencing economic hardship." That's a quote I had read, and I felt that this is very important because we need to show the economic diversity, especially within the students. The essay started off with discussing that the author and the wife's conversation while they were going into Barnes & Noble, and another store as well. The reading talked about how they felt as if these places were full with white people. The reading first shocked me because of this. I felt that they were really talking about the reality of what was going on in their environment. The story talked about how even though the author had moved to different places, he had still experienced being viewed or viewing other people in certain ways. The thoughts of Chicano and the first thoughts were discussed as well. A quote from the reading states, "On the other hand, Chicano identity had nothing to do with the particular cultural characteristics that an individual must have or in order to be the thing called Chicano." This quote is showing a sense of cultural sameness in a way because it is stating that no matter which culture you claim to be, the characteristics don't matter at the end of the day. Labeling people for what they look like on the outside can come off as wrong because people really don't know that much about them on the inside. The reading explains that this is in ways of race, language, and gender. While reading, he had left a few examples of people saying things like, "Why are they having to read stories and books from a certain culture?" I felt that this was becoming the norm and it makes me upset. He claims that he reacted in a bad way. Often people hear things they don't like, especially regarding culture and politics. They may react in a bad way. This reading also talks about the way that people may view themselves. People who claim to be Chicanos or claim to not feel that they are ashamed of how much money they have or what they do for a living. I said this because I felt that a lot of people who are Chicanos or come from a certain heritage and culture, they may feel that they're different or they don't fit in. I feel that they should never feel like that. The reading brings up our ancestors working so hard for us and what they came for. Then it states that we shouldn't feel ashamed at all. If anything, we should feel grateful and proud of who we are. Everyone will judge, but so will we. In a reading by a Spanish novelist's perspective on Chicano literature states, "I recall a conversation in Spanish with a Chicano waitress who, before answering my questions, looked nervously at her Anglo boss standing by the cash register. It is sad that people get ashamed by their culture or are forced to not speak another language. A big aspect of culture can also be within genders. Women may react a certain way because of men." A reading also states, "Men and women, even within their same culture, have such characteristics because men and women communicate with different underlying social objectives, so their communication patterns are very different." My mother is a Chicana. Her parents both came from Mexico, but they came over here to have a better life for themselves and their kids. My mom used to talk about how people do view her differently because of this. She had also lived in Mexico, and the people there viewed U.S. very differently as well. In a research article I had gotten from the Goldman Library called National Culture, Economic Development, Population Growth, and Environmental Performance, the Meditating Role of Education states that empirical results conclude that national culture, economic development, and population growth will significantly influence environmental performance directly. This has got me to examine that throughout the different areas and cultures, the economic cultural differences in the environment. This makes a difference on the economic changes. I feel that spreading a good outlet to people with information is, of course, in the media. A quote that stood out to me states, "The burgeoning Chicano radicalism of Al Movento desperately need an independent and nationwide forum beyond establishment media and print outlets where the self-expression and self-definition of a larger Chicano community and movement. They wanted to really make this possible. I feel that it is an interconnected world. The differences that are visible is the way we express ourselves to the people and show our feelings aloud. The differences that are invisible are the ones that we keep to ourselves. This reminded me of what the first assigned reading stated about the waitress. The way we react to the moments shows our true emotions. Cultural diversity is amazing how different cultures can come together and collide. When it comes to cultural sameness, that is good as well because it can relate to common ideas within our cultures. Visions that make cultural present, plural, and differences is from what we are born with. They start to shape our lives. This can all come together and be possible because of how our past experiences shape our future ideas. Visibility does serve to protect differences from what we may see and change our thoughts on things. We start to form our own ideas and react to a certain way because of them. The differences survive in an invisible element in a coherent culture by developing identity based on who we hang out with and surround ourselves with. In conclusion, there is a lot to learn about cultural identity, diversity, political, and economic ideas. Many people develop these type of ideas based on where they live and where they come from. Being in an interconnected world, there are differences among people. This is expressed within the United States and outside of the United States as well. So I wanted to discuss my Chicano side of the family, which I am, and my mom. So this is my family right here, as you can see. So I do have my aunts. They're all Chicanas as well. And my grandpa, which he did come from Mexico. My mom is here in the corner. So he came over here to make a better life for my mom and my aunts and even us. He had fields in Mexico. He came over here and started to move his strawberry fields over here, start brand new. And then he went back there and came back with my mom. I am very proud of that because I feel that I shouldn't have to hide being from this kind of family. I should be proud of it. And I think that even though this world does have differences, we should all look at everyone very equally. I was going to show this as well. This is a picture of my grandpa and my grandma. They are both from Mexico. So yeah, that is them hugging. I also wanted to talk about the political and economic ideas. I feel that even in Mexico, they do have their same in by providing these differences within the people and different thoughts. We can be able to gather our ideas and make everything equally as possible. So yeah, I do feel that coming from a Chicano household, it's very important and we should be proud of where we came from. I really enjoyed this class and I'm very, very happy we were able to do this project because it did help me learn a lot more on my culture. All the research I had done, everything really did help me a lot. So yeah, just learning about the different cultures and the movement, the population growth and everything is just crazy. What really caught my eye was when he had brought an example about how one of the students had talked about why they were learning just about white people. And I think that happens anywhere, even in different countries. I think even in Mexico, they may be thinking, why are we learning this about the United States? Why aren't we learning this about Mexico? I think no matter where you are, no matter where you're from, it's always going to happen. So yeah, when my mom did come here, she had told me stories about when she had came here, that she didn't feel as equal, that she felt judged. I remember her saying that she was living with her grandparents and her parents, and her first language was just Spanish. So when she went into school, she had to learn English on her own and just from her sisters. I felt that is very hard. I can't imagine doing that. I do know some Spanish as well, but just imagining that to only learn Spanish, to go into a school with only knowing Spanish while all these other kids are speaking English. I felt that it must have been really hard for her. Even my grandparents today, which I'll pull up the picture again, they only know Spanish. So yeah, I'm very happy to get this opportunity with this class and to have a great professor and to learn a lot from this. Thank you so much, and I really hope you enjoyed my video, my project. Bye!